Gran Turismo Sport's headline feature is ranked match-made racing. In order for the game to match you against similarly skilled players, they have introduced two new player rankings. These are your driver rating, or DR, and your sportsmanship rating, SR. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 ways you can improve your DR. First, let's talk about how the rating works. Everyone will start at rank E. As you start participating in sport mode races, you will receive an invisible amount of points towards ranking up to the next tier. These points are decided by multiple factors. First is your finishing position in the race. The higher up you finish, the more points you'll receive. Next is your qualifying position. Even before you race, you will have been granted something, so all's not lost if you have a bad race. It would also seem, from the research that I've done, as if gaining places during the race will give you an extra bonus. Something that will affect your ending points is how your rating stacks up against everyone else's. If you're placing better than higher ranks, you'll be getting more points. Finally, your DR result is directly affected by your SR result. If you have a dirty race, this will have a negative impact on any DR increase you might have received, so there's really no point in racing at all if you don't race cleanly. Okay, so let's start at the beginning of the race, your starting position. In racing, generally speaking, being in front is an advantage, and it's for several reasons. Firstly, you don't have to worry about running into anyone ahead of you, so you can take the lines that you want to take. If your line has you had braking later in the corner than your competitors have been taking, then you can do that without fear of rear-ending another car. You also don't have to worry about dirty air in cars that are high in downforce. And the other thing, of course, is it means you hold a higher position, so should no one manage to get around you, you get a better place. So how do you go about securing a higher starting position? You've got to get a good qualifying lap. I strongly recommend spending a good amount of time working on your qualifying lap before you enter the race, even half an hour or more. You can take a look at the top 10 overall qualifying laps to see the very best times, so you know at least what's possible, and take a look at what times your friends are getting, and then you have some reference points of what's a good lap. I'm not suggesting keep going until you're number 1 on the board, but at least keep going until you feel like you're fairly close to what feels like your limit. If your friends have got some really good laps, message them asking to save and upload their replay. Then you can see it and you can save it, and then you can see what they're doing different from you, or stick their ghost into your session to chase. The next point runs on from the previous point quite nicely, and that's being consistent. Having worked out how to get a fast lap, and got one on the board, you should already be feeling pretty confident with the car and track. But just make sure that you can run, say, 4 or 5 laps in a row without making a mistake. These laps should be close to your best qualifying lap, but don't expect them to beat it or match it every lap. Running consistent laps is more about holding your lines well, keeping the car under control, and being fast enough to stay competitive, but not pushing the car right to the limit and increasing your risks of making a mistake. Just remind yourself, race laps are not the same as qualifying laps, and you should not treat them as such or you'll find yourself in the grass somewhere along the line. For this, there's not much you can do except do more racing. If you don't feel especially confident with racing in close proximity to others, maybe join an open lobby race instead with your friends or with anyone else, and just practice. Even if it's not the same car and track as the sport race that you're looking at, any practice driving up close and personal with other drivers will make you a better racer. Work on how to change your corner entries when you're following someone, how much extra do you have to brake in the draft, when's a good time to make a pass, etc. This might seem like a small thing, but I can tell you it makes a huge difference, as the first corner, first lap can often be the most important one of the race. Most people will only have practiced that first corner going at full speed from the beginning of the home straight on a flying lap. Pretend you're in a rolling start, set your speed at 70 miles an hour, that's around 112 kilometers per hour, then go a little bit before the start line, full speed, and work out the new braking points or how you might take that corner the fastest from a slightly reduced speed. I guarantee if you practice this you can take a position almost every time, or at least prevent yourself from being overtaken in the ever crazy first turn. The final tip I can give is to, above all, race cleanly. Not only will everyone hate you if you're shunting people around the track, but it really will decrease your DR. The SR is a separate rating, but it directly affects your DR. If you finish a race with negative SR, you won't be gaining any DR. It's as simple as that. Race dirty and you may as well not have raced at all. And it might not even be dirty racing. Sadly, honest mistakes will get you to. And they will happen. Even the best drivers in the world will make mistakes, or cause the occasional crash. The more prepared you are for the race, and the more time you put into practice, the less that's going to happen. If you end the race with a green SR, you'll be more likely to increase your DR, even if you don't finish that high. So there are 5 ways you can improve your DR. I hope these tips will help you, and good luck in sport mode.